You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
When it comes to ensuring your company has top-notch security practices, things can get complicated fast. Vanta automates compliance for SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more, saving you time and money. With Vanta, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Our listeners can claim a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber for $1,000 off Vanta. Telegram's CEO is arrested by French police, presumably over moderation failures. A cyber attack disrupted services at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and the Port of Seattle. SonicWall has warned customers of a critical vulnerability that could lead to unauthorized access or a firewall crash. Dutch and French regulators fined Uber €290 million for failing to protect the privacy of EU drivers. Microsoft will host a cybersecurity conference next month in response to the disastrous CrowdStrike software update. Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty looks at Iran's active attempts to interfere in the upcoming U.S. presidential election. Our guests are Danielle Ruderman, Senior Manager for Worldwide Security Specialists at AWS, and Adam McKeel, CISO at Texas A&M. They spoke with N2K's Brandon Karpf about CISO circles, security challenges faced in higher education, and fostering the culture of security. And pig butchering devastates a small-town bank. It's Monday, August 26, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Happy Monday, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. Over the weekend, Telegram CEO Pavel Durov, a dual citizen of the UAE and France, was arrested by French police at Le Bourget Airport. Durov, who founded Telegram in 2013, was detained under a warrant related to the app's moderation failures, including accusations of not curbing criminal activities on the platform. Telegram, popular in Russia and former Soviet states, has faced criticism for weak moderation of extremist content. The arrest has sparked controversy, with some accusing the West of double standards on free speech. Much of the coverage of Durov's arrest points to the popularity of Telegram as an encrypted messaging app. But is it really? Johns Hopkins University professor and cryptographer Matthew Green addressed this question in a blog post. As Green points out, Telegram does offer encryption, but not by default. Unlike industry-standard messaging apps that use end-to-end encryption for all conversations, Telegram requires users to manually activate its Secret Chats feature to enable end-to-end encryption. This feature is only available for one-on-one chats and not for group conversations. The process to start a secret chat is cumbersome, making it difficult for non-experts to use. As a result, most Telegram conversations are not end-to-end encrypted, leaving them potentially visible to Telegram servers and vulnerable to unauthorized access. Despite these limitations, Telegram markets itself as a secure messaging app, which has led to criticism. Additionally, while encryption is important for privacy, metadata, such as who is communicating with whom and when, is not protected by end-to-end encryption and can still be collected by Telegram, posing another privacy concern. A cyber attack disrupted websites, email, and phone services at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and the Port of Seattle over the weekend, impacting travel plans. The attack, which began Saturday and continued into Sunday, led to manual baggage sorting for over 7,000 bags, delayed flights, and caused some airlines to handwrite boarding passes. The FBI and federal agencies are investigating the incident, but the attacker's intentions and whether any personal data was compromised remain unclear. Despite the disruptions, security operations continued, and most flights were unaffected. This incident follows previous warnings about the growing vulnerability of airline operations to cyber attacks due to increased reliance on interconnected systems. A non-password protected database containing 31.5 million files was discovered by security researcher Jeremiah Fowler, exposing business records from 2012 onward, including contracts, invoices, and personal data. The documents belong to ServiceBridge, a franchise management software by GPS Insight. Sensitive information such as PII, medical records, and site audit reports were accessible, posing significant security and privacy risks. After a responsible disclosure, the database was restricted, but it's unclear how long it was exposed or if others accessed it. The incident highlights the dangers of inadequate data protection and the potential for invoice fraud, especially affecting small businesses. The importance of encryption, access control, and secure data storage is emphasized by Jeremiah Fowler to prevent such exposures. Fowler says he does not imply any wrongdoing by ServiceBridge or GPS Insight, but aims to raise awareness of cybersecurity best practices. SonicWall has warned customers of a critical vulnerability in its Sonic OS operating system that could lead to unauthorized access or a firewall crash. The flaw affects SonicWall Gen 5, Gen 6, and Gen 7 firewalls. Updates are available to fix the issue, and customers are urged to patch their systems promptly. Although no in-the-wild exploitation has been reported, similar vulnerabilities in SonicWall products have been exploited before. Around 650,000 SonicWall firewalls are Internet exposed, with over 400,000 in the U.S. Dutch and French regulators fined Uber €290 million for failing to protect the privacy of EU drivers when transferring their data to U.S. servers. The data included sensitive information such as account details, licenses, location data, and even criminal and medical records. The fine follows a collective complaint from over 170 drivers with Dutch authorities, leading to the investigation due to Uber's EU headquarters in the Netherlands. Uber, previously fined €10 million for GDPR breaches, plans to appeal, calling the decision unjustified. The company argued that its data transfer process complied with GDPR during a period of legal uncertainty between the EU and US. The fine highlights ongoing challenges in cross-border data transfers, despite the new data privacy framework established last year. Microsoft will host a cybersecurity conference on September 10th in Redmond, Washington, following the disastrous CrowdStrike software update in July that caused millions of Windows computers to crash, disrupting industries like airlines and logistics. The conference will gather cybersecurity firms, including CrowdStrike, to discuss preventing such incidents. Topics will include reducing reliance on kernel mode, which caused the widespread crashes, and exploring user mode, which offers more isolation. The summit will also address adopting eBPF technology and memory-safe programming languages like Rust. Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty looks at Iran's active attempts to interfere in the upcoming U.S. presidential election through sophisticated campaigns involving hackers, phishing attacks, and AI-generated content on websites. Iran's goal is to fuel distrust in the U.S. democratic system and deepen social divisions. Iranian hackers have targeted the email accounts of both Trump and Harris, with the suspected involvement of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Additionally, an Iranian network known as Storm 2035 operates multiple inauthentic news sites aimed at polarizing U.S. voters. These efforts mirror Russian tactics from the 2016 election and are intended to disrupt the election process and undermine its integrity. While both Republican and Democratic campaigns are targeted, experts suggest Iran may have a particular interest in preventing a second Trump term. The full impact of these actions remains unclear as the election approaches. An audit by the Department of Justice's Office of the Inspector General found significant weaknesses in the FBI's management and disposal of electronic storage media containing sensitive and classified information. Key issues include inadequate tracking of storage media, inconsistent labeling of classification levels, and insufficient physical security during media destruction. The OIG recommended revising procedures to ensure proper tracking, labeling, and security of these materials. The FBI acknowledged the issues and is developing a new directive to address them, including plans to install protective cages and improve surveillance at storage facilities. The FBI is expected to provide updates on its corrective actions within 90 days. Coming up after the break, our guests, Danielle Ruderman, Senior Manager for Worldwide Security Specialists at AWS, and Adam McKeel, CISO at Texas A&M. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, KnowBe4. It's all connected, and we're not talking conspiracy theories. When it comes to InfoSec tools, effective integrations can make or break your security stack. The same should be true for security awareness training. KnowBe4, provider of the world's largest library of security awareness training, provides a way to integrate your existing security stack tools to help you strengthen your organization's security culture. KnowBe4's Security Coach uses standard APIs to quickly and easily integrate with your existing security products from vendors like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and Cisco, 35 vendor integrations and counting. Security Coach analyzes your security stack alerts to identify events related to any risky security behavior from your users. Use this information to set up real-time coaching campaigns targeting risky users based on those events from your network, endpoint, identity, or web security vendors. Then coach your users at the moment the risky behavior occurs, with contextual security tips delivered via Microsoft Teams, Slack, or email. Learn more at knowbe4.com/securitycoach. That's knowbe4.com/securitycoach. And we thank KnowBe4 for sponsoring our show. The IT world used to be simpler. You only had to secure and manage environments that you controlled. Then came new technologies and new ways to work. Now, employees, apps, and networks are everywhere. This means poor visibility, security gaps, and added risk. That's why Cloudflare created the first-ever connectivity cloud. Visit cloudflare.com to protect your business everywhere you do business. Danielle Ruderman is Senior Manager for Worldwide Security Specialists at AWS, and Adam McKeel is CISO at Texas A&M. They recently sat down with N2K's Brandon Karpf at the AWS Reinforce 2024 conference. They spoke about CISO circles, security challenges faced in higher education, and fostering the culture of security.
I am here today at AWS Reinforce with Danielle Ruderman, Senior Manager for Worldwide Security Specialists, and Adam Michael, the Chief Information Security Officer at Texas A&M. Danielle, Adam, so great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Very happy to be here to talk about the CISO circles.
Thank you for having me.
So, Danielle, could you give us a sense of the CISO circles? What is the CISO circle? How does it play out in reality on the ground? What's the value there?
Sure. So the CISO circles for AWS is a mechanism that we created for us to connect our AWS security leaders and our service team leaders directly with our customers, but directly with our customers in different countries, right? We really wanted to make sure that we were taking our leadership out to where the customers are. And this was really intended to be a trust building activity. We wanted to learn from our customers, but we also wanted to create a space where our customer CISOs could interact with each other. Because that's really where the value comes, is hearing these conversations from CISOs in different industries, different businesses, all be able to come together. And it's intended to be a learning opportunity, right? So the CISOs do learn from each other, and we're there to listen to be part of the conversation as well. And the big thing is that we do prioritize open discussion. And we make a really big point about this. And it's a real opportunity for people to be very real with each other, talk about the real issues we're facing, and for us to share roadmap information, what we're thinking. So it's intended to be a very collaborative, safe space. And I'm hoping we have achieved that for our customers.
Well, Adam, curious from your perspective, what are those real issues that you might be facing? And your experience with the CISO circles, would love to hear kind of how you've experienced it so far.
Like anything else in our industry, those issues change over time. So I've attended now 2 or 3 of the CISO Circle events. 2 were these cross-industry, where we had CISOs from various sectors, right? And that was a year or 2 ago. So the most recent that I've attended was one that was focused on higher ed specifically. And obviously that being just in the past 6 months or so, generative AI came up, security around AI and machine learning, how we deal with the contractual issues that arise there. We talked about cultures of security, how we build that within our organizations. And also higher ed tends to lag a little bit behind a lot of other industries in terms of how we adopt new technology. So some of us are still dealing with issues of adopting cloud technologies. Right? Things that might be more common now in certain industries are still something we are moving into. Cloud native application, things like that.
I'd be curious, Adam, to pull the thread a little bit on what you just said, because you shared that you did host a circle at Texas A&M recently, and someone who's worked in higher ed myself and been around that world also. Higher ed's mission has nothing to do with technology, right? Organizations tend to not focus on the security enterprise and the IT enterprise, and so you're working for an organization that's typically pretty focused on the students and the research part of the organization if it's a research institute. So I'd be curious your experience in that environment, how you've addressed security, how you've brought that into the community, into the culture, and then also lessons learned from the CISO circle that you hosted at A&M.
Right. Well, so yes, you're right. Technology isn't the focus, but like any other large enterprise, right, effort in 2024, you can't accomplish the things we want to accomplish in higher ed without very strong technology as its foundation and the infrastructure. And we are a very high research activity institution, $1.4 billion in research expenditure annually. We have a lot of students, 78,000 students this year. And that's just on our main campus. When you deal with that scale, you have to have technology to enable the things you want to do, even basic things like teaching in the classroom, dealing with student enrollment issues, the scheduling problem of 78,000 students across multiple thousand classes and sections in hundreds of individual rooms on campus in the various buildings. And being able to handle that requires a lot of technology infrastructure. So some of that's in the cloud, some of it's on-prem. We are constantly evaluating and looking at where is it appropriate for us to move to cloud workloads, where do we need to keep things on-prem? And none of that even speaks to the research technology. Conducting research in any field in 2024, it doesn't matter if it's computer science or if it's physics or chemistry or even English and the humanities. It is conducted with technology. So our researchers can purchase cloud computing services from us through the main technology organization.
So you've also mentioned this idea of culture of security. So I'm curious, Danielle, in your experience running CISO circles and really managing this program, this global program at AWS. How do you see this idea of fostering culture of security? How do we do it as senior security executives in an effective way?
Right. And I'll tell you a little bit of background. So the idea of culture of security has been something that's been talked about at Amazon and AWS for a long time. Security is our top priority. And we've heard these stories and had these customer meetings. And so we decided to offer this to the CISO circles because it's just over time been something that's really resonated with customers. And the whole premise behind this, I want to give you like this idea. The phrase culture of security we use very deliberately instead of security culture, because culture of security is the idea that security is a priority for everybody in the company, right? Everyone. Whereas when we say security culture, we're talking about the culture of your security team itself. And both these things are very important. But when we say culture of security, we mean, hey, you as a security leader, security owners, how are we scaling that responsibility out to the business so that security teams can do more with less? And that's really why the topic has resonated, especially today, is I haven't met a CISO or security team yet that feels they have enough resources.
Sure.
And so a lot of these concepts and these mechanisms that live within that idea of culture of security are ways for CISOs and security teams to really push that responsibility out to the business and find ways to partner. So the security team can really be a partner and enabler to the business.
Yeah, I completely agree with that formulation. Our security team, clearly we have our own culture and I work hard to develop that, but the difficult part is getting those ideas and beliefs and priorities, the things that are important to us. How do we translate that back to the rest of the IT organization, much less the rest of our entire university as an organization, right? So there is no way we can accomplish all the things that I want to do. I can't move the needle on security within my organization if the only people thinking about security topics are my employees on my team. I have to get that idea, I have to get that culture moved out into the rest of the technology organization. And so that's definitely on my mind a lot. And being able to talk about how you accomplish that with peers and learn from things that have been successful for them, that is very valuable.
Danielle and Adam, so great to have you join us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
That's Danielle Ruderman, Senior Manager for Worldwide Security Specialists at AWS, along with Adam McKeel, CISO at Texas A&M. They were speaking with N2K's Brandon Karp. And finally, our Gordon Gekko desk tells us the sad tale of the former CEO of a small Kansas bank, Shan Haines, who was sentenced to over 24 years in prison for embezzling $47 million, all of which he sent to scammers in a pig-butchering crypto scheme. Haines was so dazzled by the prospect of quick riches that he drained the bank, a local church, an investment club, and even his daughter's college fund, only to lose everything to the scam. His reckless wire transfers led to the collapse of Heartland Tri-State Bank, leaving a small town reeling and shareholders wiped out. At his sentencing, Haines offered a half-hearted apology, but the judge and his victims were unimpressed. Despite being duped, Haines believed until the end that he could recover the money if only given more time, highlighting just how deep he was in over his head. The judge delivered a harsh sentence, reflecting the devastating impact of Haines's actions on his community. It's a good reminder that scams can happen to anyone. Haines's story is a cautionary tale that even those in positions of power and knowledge can fall victim to scams. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. Don't forget to check out the Grumpy Old Geeks podcast, where I contribute to a regular segment on Jason and Brian's show every week. You can find Grumpy Old Geeks where all the fine podcasts are listed. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your teams smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Fittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. This September 18th and 19th in Denver, a tight community of leading experts is gathering to tackle the toughest cybersecurity challenges we face. It's happening at MWise, the unique conference built by practitioners for practitioners. Brought to you by Mandiant, now part of Google Cloud, MWise features one-to-one access with industry experts and fresh insights into the topics that matter most, right now, to frontline practitioners. Register early and save at mwise.io/cyberwire. That's mwise.io/cyberwire.